Okay, I'm going to try and make a video here of how to change the ignition switch on a 2002 Honda CRV. Trying to get so that light's not too bright there. Okay, this is the switch itself. Okay, that's what it looks like. All right, on this particular model, see that it has 3 electrical connections, 2 there and 1 there, and it goes back here and hooks on this column, steering column right there. Okay, the steering column is going to be the hardest part of this job so far, is to get that off there. I'm going to show you why. This fits on the bottom of the column right here, and this of course is the strap that holds it down. Well, as you can see on that bolt right there, this one is super chewed up, and I was able to get this one with a fairly easy. But the issue is, as you can see, they're smooth. I guess they call them breakaway bolts. I think that's what they call them. Anyway, the way I got this thing out and is with a chisel and a screwdriver, but the chisel worked best. I got a small chisel, and if I can't put the camera a little better here. Okay, you put the chisel as close to the edge as you can on it. I'm doing this very well, but and then you hit it with a hammer lightly, and that will start to move that out, start to loosen it up. That's in theory anyway. As you can see, the first one I did was, it's just chewed up because it wouldn't budge. I couldn't get it to move. This one has a couple little nick marks in it, and it came out pretty easily. I guess angles are everything, and I guess that's what I was doing, was not getting the correct angle. I don't know if you can see this or not on there, but there is a small indentation right there in the center of where I was gouged it out. I drilled a small hole there to accommodate a Phillips screwdriver, because the chisel, and this is a pretty soft metal, so the chisel and the screwdriver was just marring it too much. It was just eating it up, and it just wouldn't come out. And I guess it's just because of the angle. So anyway, that is going to be the toughest part of this thing so far. So once you get it out, well, first I guess I should say, you have these cable bundles back here. These octopus cable are all let's see, I can get the camera here. Here we go. Now you got some electrical connections that I guess I did not need to remove. Now, well, I won't say that, because I did have to remove them so I could get down to those bolts and get them loose off of the column right here. If you can see where my hand is. Okay. So, but they're easy to go, and they just clip. They just snap into place. So you just find out, should be on the top there where should be a little button you depress, and then just get a screwdriver at the edge here, or just gently guide it out with your hand. They're kind of tight sometimes, but you can get them out pretty easily, really. So anyway, they're not complicated to get back in, because everything just falls back into place where it's supposed to be. And if you're not going to be able to put the wrong cable back, it's all, you know, the pin count and all that is already determined, so you don't have to do anything like that. So anyway, this is where it comes out of, and I'll tell you, it's a booger to get out of there. With these, like I said, I don't know why Honda does it. It's, I don't know if it's an anti-theft thing or what, but there's a lot of clearance in here, so you could have easily, or they could have easily put a just a, you know, I don't know, a star bit head, you know, on it or something. Allen wrench, even a traditional, just a, you know, traditional bolt head on there to get that out of there. So I'm not sure why they did it this way, but that is the toughest part of this project, really. Other than what it's going to hit me in the pocketbook, I guess. Because this guy, what I was trying to do was replace this, just the tumbler where the key, you know, it's just a lock. That's all it is. Everything else is good. The electronics on it are good. All this stuff, everything's fine. There's nothing wrong. It worked just fine. It's just this lock wears out every now, you know, after. It's a 2002, so I mean, it's, what, 19 years old, so it just wore out. But in order to replace that, I have to replace all of this. Because what I found is that I took this entire thing apart, and I can remove the guts of this thing, and it comes out, but none of the auto parts stores around here sell it. I can't really find it online, but even if I did, that doesn't really matter, because I'm going to have a key that not only works in that lock, but it also has to be programmed to start the car. So the part that really hurts, I think, is the fact that I was able to fix, you know, get this out and put it back and do everything I need to do to get it running. But I still have to have the dealer or a mobile locksmith come out to the house and program the key for me. And that to me is the most aggravating part to this whole thing. But I'm making this video because you know, I use YouTube quite a bit to give me shortcuts or hints on how to do certain things on cars or around the house or whatever. You know, a lot of people out there have some good hacks and, you know, just good ways of doing things. And so I just kind of wanted to do a video that told you what my experience with this was. And again, my experience right now is that guy, this is the hardest part to get it out. It fits right here in this column. And of course, you know, in the factory, when they put this stuff together, they put it all in one and then install everything at once. You know, when you're trying to fix it out here in the field, or, you know, out after it's out of the factory, it's a little difficult sometimes. So anyway, you had to start by removing the shrouds, the plastic, you know, covers that cover the steering wheel. There's a top part and a bottom part to it. It's got 3 little screws that hold it on. It's very simple. You take the screws out, and that's it. You take it out, and it fits. The screws screw in under here. And then the top part of it, of course, covers up all this. All right. So it's pretty simple, really. Comes right out. Just get a little screwdriver to pry the seams apart. And that's about it. That's the easy part. But again, this guy right here, this thing right here is really, really a booger. So get your chisel and a hammer. Put your chisel right there on the edge of it, just like that, and just make it dig into the metal a little bit so it turns it. And eventually it'll go. As you can see on this one only has 2 or 3 little marks on it. I was really surprised. It took me a long time to get this one out. As you can see, I mean, I just beat that thing to death. But this thing has got just 2 little marks on it, and it came right out. Again, I'm guessing I just wasn't at the correct angle to really get it to turn, because it doesn't feel like there's any reason it bound up in there. It was probably just me not being at the correct angle. But, you know, you got it. You can only do what you can do in these small spaces. And I mean, you don't have a lot of room in here. So, yeah, it's pretty tight back in there. So, anyway, what I have to do now is I'm going to go to going to buy it locally. I'm not going to buy it online. I know a lot of people buy stuff online. I've done that myself to some success, and other times not so successful, because what I found online is that it'll have this connector but not this one. So you know, it's got to have all this stuff so all my cables will hook back up, and the only way I'm going to know that for sure is if I get it from order it from Napa or up to I don't know, Advanced Auto or wherever I'm going to get it. Anyway, I will have this in my hand, and I will look at the other one, and I will be able to see that everything is going to match up, because what I don't want is to have it delivered to the house after I order it from West Jabip someplace, and find out it's not going to work. Then I got to send it back, and now I'm still not up and running with the car. This is my wife's car, so you know, she needs it, of course. But unfortunately, she's going to be dead in the water for a couple of days until I can get this, until I can get it. Yeah, look at that. Until I can get it fixed. But then we got to get it over to the dealer to have the key reprogrammed. I called them. They said it's going to be about $140 to do that. I can't get an answer out of the mobile locksmith, because all they want to do is schedule an appointment. They're not going to give me any kind of quote, so that makes me a little nervous. Not really willing to have them come out if I don't know how much they're going to charge me. Online it said anywhere from $85 to $200, so I'm going to guess it's going to be somewhere in the closer to the $200 mark. But anyway, that's it. I mean, just wanted to try to give a little bit of an informational video here for anybody else who's trying to do this. Overall, it's not a hard job. Again, it's just this bracket is the biggest obstacle you're going to have. And I honestly, I don't know why Honda does this, but they should be ashamed of themselves for this kind of nonsense. I mean, they couldn't have put some sort of way to use a hex wrench or a star bit or just a traditional, you know, head on a bolt. I mean, something. But to have this breakaway bolt like this, it just makes no sense. I don't understand why you would. I mean, because this thing is buried. I mean, you're talking anti-theft. If this is some sort of anti-theft device, and I can't imagine that's why they would do this. This is the least of your worries for anti-theft. I mean, you would never get to this thing, you know, to try to steal it. I mean, what, are they going to take your ignition? I mean, I don't understand why they would do that, is what I'm saying, and it just makes no sense. And it's really, really difficult to get this thing out. At least it was for me. Some people might have an easier time with it, but I had a hard time with it. So anyway, there it is, and I will update it when I get it in and show you what it looks like installed, and then when it's running. So until then.